Welcome to the deep dive. We take the sources you send us, dig in, and pull out the key insights so you can get informed quickly.
And today we're looking at some specific chapters, 9 and 10, from Soul in the Driver's Seat, A Course in Miracles for the New Age, Volume 1.
That's right. And our mission here is to really try and understand the perspective this book offers,
Yeah.
the soul's view on some pretty fundamental parts of life.
You shared this, and we figure it's because, you're interested in those deeper aspects of consciousness.
Yeah, how they might actually play out in your daily life. So let's unpack what this soul perspective is all about.
Okay, so first up, prayer. It really shakes up the common ideas, doesn't it?
It really does. It questions whether prayer is, begging for things or some kind of ritual.
Or needing someone, like a priest or shaman, to talk to God for you.
Exactly. It kind of throws that out. It suggests God isn't out there.
But right here.
Yeah, inside you, as your soul.
Yeah.
Always there, always accessible.
And get this, the soul apparently knows you completely, like better than you know yourself consciously.
Which is a bit mind-bending. So prayer isn't about asking an external being for stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's more about tuning in, quieting the chatter in your head.
And just asking that inner part, your soul.
What's next? What should I do?
Sounds almost simple.
Deceptively simple, maybe? No big rituals needed.
Just listen inwards.
Mm-hmm.
And the text says this inner divinity, this soul, it wants to be a partner.
A full partner, until eventually there's like a blending.
Emerging, yeah.
Oh.
Human and divine becoming one. It changes the whole dynamic, doesn't it? Not asking up, but partnering within.
Right. Collaboration, not hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of leads into the next big idea, sin.
Ah, yes, sin. Another concept that gets a radical rethink here.
Forget the idea of sinning against some judgmental God figure.
Yeah, the book points the finger elsewhere. It talks about the ego.
The ego as the source of resistance. Resistance to the soul's guidance.
And it says the ego is actually, programmed to resist.
Sort of, yeah. So choosing the ego's way over the soul's way isn't sin in the old sense.
It's just following your programming.
Pretty much. It's the ego needing to feel separate, needing control.
Your soul is always trying
which
to
the
talk
soul
to you. I
sees
will
as,
never...
well, illusions.
That feels lighter, doesn't it?
Mm.
Less cosmic judgment.
Definitely. The text is very clear. God, the soul, the connection between souls, it's all loving, supportive.
Never critical. Never judging.
Never. Even when we mess up, act unlovingly, which happens. The book admits that.
It's not a sin.
No, it's framed as a chance to learn, a growth opportunity.
Not something needing divine punishment or even forgiveness from on high.
Exactly. So the conclusion is pretty stark.
Sin, as we usually think of it.
It's a human invention, a man-made concept,
Yeah.
not a spiritual reality.
Okay, so if messing up isn't sin, but learning, that connects to healing, right?
It does, yeah. The text talks about a tipping point in our transformation.
Where we switch operating systems, basically.
Yeah.
From ego-led to soul-led.
That's a good way to put it. A complete shift. And the description of that healed state is, well, it's quite something.
It sounds amazing, actually. It says things like disease, pain, depression, anger, regret.
They just cease. They're not there anymore in that state.
Wow. And what's left?
Acceptance, deep peace, joy. That's described as the natural result, the reward.
So those negative things aren't fundamental. They're just ego-static.
That seems to be the idea. Byproducts of identifying with the ego. Seeing that means we can see they don't have to be there.
And this healed state is called love incarnate.
Yeah. Fully aligned, free from the ego's grip, ready for a whole new experience of life.
Where love isn't just a feeling you have sometimes.
It's what you are, your essence.
Okay, that's a powerful idea. Now, what about sanity versus insanity? That felt a bit tricky.
It did. The text refines the original Course in Miracles idea. The one saying ego-led people are insane.
Right, which can sound harsh, especially considering real mental illness.
Exactly. So this text distinguishes between, say, functional egos and dysfunctional ones.
Okay, so how does it define insane then, in its own terms?
It links insanity specifically to thoughts and actions driven by fear.
Ah, okay. As opposed to sane thoughts and actions coming from love.
Precisely. So the real measure of sanity in this context is how much you're actually listening to your soul.
Because fear is the ego's default, coming from feeling separate and vulnerable.
That's the idea. Compared to the soul, which feels secure in love's connection.
So it's less about clinical diagnosis and more about, are you operating from fear or love?
Yeah, that's the core distinction it's making.
Okay. Now, shifting gears a bit, presence versus image. This feels super relevant
Oh,
today.
absolutely. The text notes how obsessed the material world is with image.
Selling things, building a personal brand, the ego wanting attention.
Right. But the soul, it just exists in a state of presence.
What is presence, according to this?
It's described as a feeling, a sense of well-being. It's not attached to outcomes, doesn't need anything from anyone.
It just is. Without worrying what others think.
Exactly. It's the difference between the ego's constant stream of thoughts about things and the soul just being.
So, like, obsessing over the perfect Instagram photo is image,
Mm-hmm.
while just feeling the chair you're sitting on is presence.
That's a great example, yeah.
Yeah.
That unattached being, it implies you're whole already. You don't need external validation.
Right. Your worth isn't based on achievements or likes.
Which connects to the next pair, acceptance versus resistance. How does presence link there?
Well, the soul, being present, it accepts things, even things the ego fights against hard.
Things the ego labels unacceptable.
Yeah. The book uses that spilled milk analogy. The ego freaks out over small stuff, right? Accumulates resentment.
Whereas the soul just sees, okay, milk got spilled.
Right. It acknowledges what is. And the key insight here is that the soul knows its power isn't in controlling events.
But in how it responds,
Exactly. Choosing love even when things are difficult or annoying.
which is the total opposite of the ego's knee-jerk reaction. It's resistance.
Yeah. Ego resists, reacts, soul accepts, responds with love.
Okay, moving from resistance to acceptance. What about innocence versus guilt?
Another big one. The text is pretty direct. Souls are innocent.
Okay.
Always. Inherently.
Always. So what's guilt then?
Guilt is presented more like a feature of a healthy ego, a kind of internal signal.
Like a warning sign, a way shower, the text calls it.
Yeah, telling you, whoops, that action wasn't aligned with love. Kind of a course correction.
Once you get the message,
You're meant to release it. Let the guilt go. It did its job.
and it clarifies that phrase from the original course, you are innocent.
Right, that refers to the soul, your essential nature.
Not necessarily the ego, which, let's be honest, can definitely cause harm and feel guilty.
Until that transformation happens, yeah. So the guilt is real, it signals something.
But it doesn't stain your soul's fundamental innocence. It's a pointer, not permanent.
And how do we let go of that guilt?
Through understanding, forgiveness, of self, of others.
Which brings us neatly to response versus reaction. We touched on this.
We did. Love responds, fear reacts.
And fear's reaction is often about blame, looking back or worrying forward.
Yeah, focused on the past or future, who did what wrong, what might go wrong next, whereas love,
Love responds to the now, what's needed right here, right now. How can we find a solution?
exactly. Love is present. Reaction is usually about protecting the self, feeling attacked.
Response is about extending love, supporting other souls.
It's a totally different way of engaging. How might that change, say, a difficult conversation at work or with family?
That's a really practical question to sit with. And this different way of engaging, it apparently leads to empowered relationships.
Yeah.
What does that mean here?
The core idea is unconditional love between souls.
Which is different from typical human love, the kind with conditions, maybe an expiration date.
Right. This soul love is described as eternal. And strangely, it gets stronger when tested by outside stress.
Because the soul is unconditional love, like its source, like God.
That's the connection it makes. And relationships led by the soul are creative, nurturing.
Compared to ego-led ones, which can be messy, self-serving.
Disastrous, even. The text is pretty bold here. It says these soul-empowered relationships are the future.
That's a hopeful vision.
Hmm.
So to get there, it talks about letting go.
A crucial step. Letting go of what, though?
Well, pretty much anything that keeps you feeling trapped or limited, starting with.
Your purely human identity.
Yeah. Seeing this life as temporary, a school maybe, learn from it, but don't be totally fooled by it.
And letting go of the need to control everything externally.
Because true control is in the response, your inner choice.
Life just keeps giving the soul chances.
To choose love instead of fear.
Yeah.
Over and over.
So let go of judgment, too. Of self, of others.
Definitely. Embrace honesty, yes, but also unconditional love.
Because the whole point, the purpose of life, according to this,
Is learning to love it all. The easy stuff and the hard stuff.
love is the track, it says. Getting off track means straying from love.
And when you're on the track, in sync with love.
You're just being. No need to force things.
The right response will come when it's needed.
Yeah. Otherwise, the job is just to be love. Model it.
And trust the soul until that full merging happens.
Right. Trust the process. Which leads us, finally, to miracles.
Okay, so based on everything we've discussed, ego, soul, fear, love, what is a miracle in this context?
It's defined simply as a change in perception, from fear to love. Anytime you choose the soul's view over the ego's reaction, that's a miracle.
So it's an internal shift.
Primarily, yes. And the text suggests that the more we understand ourselves, the better equipped we are to make that shift, to choose love.
And therefore create miracles more often.
Exactly. It uses that image of raindrops after a drought,
Yeah, one miracle makes way for the next.
leading to a whole new way of being, understanding who you really are.
That's part of that divine love energy,
Mm-hmm. And the epilogue sort of wraps this up. It talks about the book's purpose,
which is
to help us understand the ego and the soul. The key difference being,
ego feels separate, connected to nothing much.
while the soul is connected to everything, that God network.
So the goal is waking up to that connection, realizing we're part of God, not separate little units.
That's the core aim. And the practical advice is just listen to the voices in your head.
Which one is talking, ego or soul?
And does it come from unconditional love? That's your compass. That tells you if you're on track.
So the book is kind of a reference guide
Yeah.
for after you've done some inner work.
Yeah, something to support that journey. It mentions other, maybe higher level materials exist too for living as a free soul.
Okay, and it ends with a kind of toast.
To you, the listener, for being willing to take this in, saying the veil has been lifted.
And with that, we've covered a lot of ground from these chapters, a real deep dive into the soul's perspective.
So maybe take a moment now. How do these ideas sit with you? How do they resonate with your own life, your own understanding?
Yeah, what does it actually mean to try and live from presence instead of image?
Or to shift from reacting to responding in your relationships? How might that change things?
And here's that final thought to chew on. If this source is right, if your soul really is connected to everything, and it is pure love,
How does that fundamentally change how you see yourself and how you see the world around you moving forward?
lots to think about. We definitely encourage you to keep exploring these themes if they spark something for you. Definitely something to reflect on. Thanks for diving deep with us today.